Namaste. Welcome to this 10th session of the Ramcharitamanas reading by Tulsi Das. If you're just joining us for the first time today, we invite you to look at our YouTube channel and read and refer to some of the earlier readings. Today we will it's a continuum for the rest until April next year. So we will be starting now where we left off last week. So let's begin. The Lord, who is all-pervading, indivisible, desireless, unbegotten, attributeless, and without name or form, performed marvelous acts of various kinds for the sake of his devotees. All this story has been sung by me. Now hear attentively what followed. The great enlightened hermit Vishwamitra lived in a forest, knowing it to be a sacred spot. There he practiced japa, muttering of sacred formulas, and yoga, contemplation, and performed sacrifices. But he was much afraid of the demons Maricha and Subahu. For as long as they saw a sacrifice, they would hasten to desecrate it, to the great chagrin of the sage, who felt disturbed in his mind and thought that the wicked Rakshasas could not be disposed of without Sri Hari. The great sage then said to himself, "The Lord has already taken birth in order to relieve the earth of its burden. Let me make the outrage of the demons an excuse of me seeing his feet, and after due entreaty bring the two brothers here. I will regale my eyes with the sight of him who is the abode of knowledge, dispassion, and all virtues." Indulging in expectation of various kinds, the sage took no time in reaching his destination. Bathing in the stream of the Sarayu, he went to the royal court. When the king heard of the sage's visit, he went out to meet him with a party of brahmanas. Prostrating himself on the ground, the king reverently brought him in and seated him on his throne. Then, washing the sage's feet, he paid him great honors and said, "No one else is so blessed as I am today." The king next entertained him with various kinds of food, and the great sage was much delighted at heart. He then placed his 4 sons on the latter's feet. At the sight of Sri Rama, the sage forgot all about himself. He was enraptured as he gazed on the beauty of Sri Rama's countenance, even as the chakora bird is enamored of the full moon. Gladdened at heart, the king then addressed the following words to him. "Reverend sir, you have never shown such grace to me before. Tell me what brings you here. I will carry out your order without delay." "Hosts of demons trouble me, O king. I have therefore come to ask something of you. Let me have the Lord of Raghu's Sri Rama with his younger brother Lakshmana. With the extermination of the demons, I will feel secure. Entrust them to me, O king, with a cheerful heart. Let no infatuation or ignorance stand in your way. You will earn religious merit and fair renown thereby, and your sons will be highly blessed." Hearing this most unwelcome demand, the king's heart quivered and the brightness of his countenance faded. He said, "I have been blessed with these 4 sons in my old age. You have therefore made your demand without due consideration, holy sir. Ask me of land, cattle, goods and treasure. I will gladly give you all I have without delay. Nothing is dearer than one's body and life. Even these I could part within a second. All my sons are dear to me as life, but in no case can I afford to spare Rama, my lord. My lovely boys, who are yet too young, are no match for the most hideous and relentless demons." The enlightened hermit Vishwamitra felt delighted at heart to hear the king's reply, steeped as it was in the nectar of love. Then Vashishta pleaded with the king in manifold ways, and all his doubts were gone. Most politely he sent for the 2 boys, and pressing them to his bosom, admonished them in many ways. Turning to the sage, he then said, "My lord, my 2 sons are my very life. You are now their father. Holy sir, you and no other." Invoking various blessings on the boys, the kings committed them to the care of the sage. Then they called at the mother's apartment, and bowing their feet their head at her feet, departed. The two heroes, lions among men, oceans of compassion, resolute of purpose, and the ultimate cause of the whole universe, gladly proceeded to rid the sage of his fear. The Lord has lotus eyes, a broad chest, and long arms. His body was dark, and the blue lotus or the tamala tree. With a beautiful quiver fastened at his back with a yellow piece of cloth wrapped around his waist, he held in his two hands a lovely bow and arrow respectively. In the two pretty boys, one of whom was dark and the other fair, Vishwamitra secured a great treasure. I have now realized, said he to himself, that the Lord is a votary of the Brahmanas. On my account, he left his own father. While on his way, the sage pointed out the demoness Tharka, who on hearing their voice rushed up in a fury. With a single shaft the Lord took her life, and recognized her as deserving of his compassion, bestowed his own state on her. Then the seer Vishwamitra, while recognizing his Lord as the fountain of knowledge, imparted to him a sacred formula which armed him against hunger and thirst, and endowed him with unequal strength of body and a glow of vigor. Making over him to every kind of weapon, the sage took the Lord to his own hermitage and devoutly gave him bulbs, roots, and fruits to eat, perceiving in him his greatest friend. At daybreak, the Lord of Raghu said to the sage, "You may now go perform your sacrifice without fear of devastation." All the sages then started offering oblations into the sacred fire, while Sri Rama himself guarded the sacrifice. On hearing of it, the furious demon Maricha, a great enemy of the hermits, rushed with his army. Sri Rama struck him with a headless shaft, and he fell at a distance of 800 miles beyond the seashore. The Lord next dispatched Subahu with an arrow of fire, while his young brother Lakshmana exterminated the demon host. Having killed the demons in this way, the Lord rid the Brahmanas of their fear. The whole company of gods and sages offered praises to him. The Lord of Raghu stayed there a few days more and showed his grace to the Brahmanas. Even though the Lord knew everything, the Brahmanas, out of their devotion, repeated to him many legends from the Puranas. The sage then politely said to him in a pleading tone, "My lord, let us go and witness a performance." Hearing of a bow sacrifice, the Lord of Raghus gladly accompanied the noble sage. On the way, they saw a hermitage without bird, beast, or any other living creature. Observing a slab of stone lying there, the Lord inquired of the sage about it, and the latter in reply told him the whole history behind it. Gautama's consort, having assumed the form of a stone under a curse, seeks the patience with the dust of your lotus feet. Show mercy to her, O hero of the masses. At the very touch of his holy feet, which drives away sorrow, emerged Ahilya, a true embodiment of austerity. Beholding the Lord of Raghus, the delight of his servants, she stood before him with joined palms. Her heart was overwhelmed with love. The hair on her body stood at their end as she was unable to utter a word. The most blessed Ahilya fell to his feet, and tears streamed from both her eyes. Recovering herself, she recognizes the Lord, and by the grace of Sri Rama, attained devotion at his feet. In a guileless speech, she began to praise the Lord. Glory to the Lord of Raghus, who is accessible through spiritual knowledge. I am an impure woman, while the Lord is able to sanctify the whole world and is the delight of his servants. O lotus-eyed enemy of Ravana, you rid your devotees of the fear of rebirth. Therefore I have taken refuge in you. Pray, save me, save me. My consort, Gautama, did well in pronouncing a curse on me, and I have deemed it the greatest favor. I have feasted my eyes on Sri Hari, yourself, who liberated from the bondage of worldly existence. Lord Shankara deems your sight as the only blessing worth the name. Lord, I am dull-witted. I have only one request to make. I seek no other boon from you. My master, I only crave that my mind may ever continue to enjoy the love of your feet dust, even as a bee sucks the honey from a lotus. The merciful Lord Sri Hari placed on my head the same lotus feet from which issued the most holy Ganga, which is borne by the Shiva on his head, and which are adorned by Brahma. Having thus praised Sri Hari and falling again and again at his feet, Gautama's consort Ahilya took leave of the Lord, and securing a boon she held most dear to the heart, she went to the husband's abode full of joy. The Lord Sri Hari is such a great friend of the humble and compassionate, beyond one's desires. Adore him, O foolish Tulsi Dasa. Give up all your deceit and wily wrangling. Sri Rama and Lakshmana accompanied the sage and reached the banks of the Ganga, the stream which purifies the whole universe. The son of Gadi, Vishwamitra, related the whole legend how the celestial stream had come down upon earth. The Lord then performed his ablutions with all the sages, and the Brahmanas received gifts of various kinds. Accompanied by a troop of hermits, the Lord gladly proceeded further and quickly drew near to the capital of the Vedahas, Mithila. When Sri Rama beheld the beauty of the city, he was well as his younger brother much delighted. There were big and many wells, rivers and tanks with water as sweet as nectar, and reached by flights made of jewels. Bees drunk with honey made a sweet humming sound, and birds of various hues softly cooed. Lotuses of different colors opened their petals, while a cool, soft, and fragrant breeze ever delighted the soul. The city was adorned on all sides with flower gardens, orchards, and groves, the haunt of innumerable birds, full of blossoms, fruits, and charming leaves. The beauty of the city unsurpassed description. Every inch of it was soul captivating. There was a lovely bazaar, and gorgeous balconies made of jewels, fashioned it were by the Creator with his own hands. Wealthy and good merchants, who vied with Kubera, the god of wealth, sat with all their various goods. Beautiful crossings of roads and charming streets were constantly sprinkled with scented waters. The houses of all were abodes of bliss, and obtained beautiful well paintings portrayed, as it were, by Rati's lord Cupid himself. The people of the city, both men and women, were good-looking, pious, saintly, virtuous, wise, and accomplished. The palace of King Janaka was most marvelous, the sight of whose splendor astounded even gods. Even the fortification wall filled the mind with wonder. It seemed as if it had enclosed within itself the limits of beauty of the whole universe. White palaces were screened here and there by bejeweled gold tapestries of various beautiful designs, while the exquisite palace where Sita lived was far too lovely of words to describe. The entrances to the palace were all beautiful and hard like thunderbolt, or made of diamond. They were always thronged with fiduciary princes, dancers, and bards. There were spacious stables and stalls for elephants, which were crowded at all times with steeds, elephants, and chariots. The king had a number of brave ministers and generals. They all owned mansions that vied with the royal palace. In the outskirts of the city, by the side of the lakes and rivers, numerous princes had encamped here and there. On seeing a fine mango grove, which was comfortable and agreeable in every way, the sage said, Kaushika said, "O wise hero of the Raghu's race, I like this orchard. Let us stay here." "Very well, my lord," answered the gracious lord, and encamped there with all the hermit's train. When the king of Mithila got the news that the great sage Vishwamitra had come, he took with him his faithful ministers, a number of warriors, noble brahmanas, his family preceptor Satananda, and the chief of his kinsmen, and thus went rejoicing to meet the foremost among sages. Placing his head on the sage's feet, the king made obeisance to him, while the lord of the sages, Vishwamitra, gladly gave him his blessing. The king then respectfully saluted the Brahmanas and congratulated himself on his good fortune in being able to receive them. Inquiring again and again about his welfare, Vishwamitra led the king to a seat. And at that very time arrived the two brothers who had gone to see the garden. One dark and the other fair, the two lads were yet tender of age. The delight of all eyes, they stole the heart of the whole world. All these present rose when Lord Raghu came, and Vishwamitra seated him by his side. They were all delighted to see the two brothers. Tears rushed to their eyes, and the hair on their body bristled with joy. Beholding Sri Rama's lovely and charming form, King Vedaha, Janaka, was particularly beside himself with joy. Finding his heart overwhelmed with love, the king recovered himself by recourse to reason, and bowing his head at the sage's feet, spoke to the following pregnant words in a voice choked with emotion. Tell me, my lord, are these two pretty boys the ornament of a sage's family, or the protectors of some royal dynasty? Or is it that Brahma, the Absolute, whom the Vedas describe in negative terms, such as not that, has appeared in a dual form? My mind, which is dispassion itself in its natural form, is enraptured at their sight, even as the chakora bird is transported with the joy at the sight of the moon. Therefore, sir, I earnestly inquire of you, tell me the truth, my lord, hide nothing from me. Deeply attached to them at their very sight, my mind has perforce renounced the joy of absorption into Brahma. The sage smilingly answered, You have spoken well, O king. Your words can never be untrue. Whatever living beings there are in this world, they all love these boys. Sri Rama smiled within himself on hearing these words. They are the sons of King Dashrata, the jewel of Raghu's race. The king has sent them for my cause. These two noble brothers, Rama and Lakshmana, are the embodiments of beauty, virtue, and strength. The whole world knows that they have conquered the demons in battle and protected my sacrifice from harm. When I behold your feet, O sage, added the king, I cannot tell what a great merit I have earned in the past. These two brothers, one of whom is dark of hue and the other fair, are the delight of delight itself. Their guileless affection for each other is beyond description. It is so agreeable and soul-ravishing. Listen to me, my lord, continued King Vedaha, rejoicing. They have natural affinity for each other, like the one existing between Brahma and the Jiva. The king gazed upon the Lord over and over again. The hair on his body stood on end, and his heart overflowed with joy. Extolling the sage and bowing his head at the latter's feet, the king escorted him to his capital and lodged the sage in a beautiful palace, which was comfortable at all times. Then, after further homage and rendering all kinds of service to him, the king took leave of the sage and returned to his own palace. Having dined with the seers and rested a while, Lord Rama, the jewel of Raghu's race, sat down by his brother's side. A quarter of the day still remained. Lakshmana felt his heart a great longing to go see the Janaka's capital. He was, however, afraid of the Lord and stood in awe of the sage. Therefore he did not openly declare it and smiled within himself. Sri Rama understood what was passing in his younger brother's mind, and his heart overflowed with a kindly feeling for his devotee. Taking leave of his preceptor to speak, he smilingly spoke with much deference in most polite terms. My lord, Lakshmana wants to see the city, but out of fear and respect for you, he does not make it known to you. If I have your permission, I will take him around the city and bring him back quickly. Hearing this, the chief of sages Vishwamitra replied in affectionate terms. It is no wonder, Rama, that you should respect good manners. You are the upholder of the moral code, my son, and bring joy to your servants out of love for them. Go, blissful pair of brothers, and having seen the city, come back. Bless the eyes of all by showing them your charming countenance. Saluting the lotus feet of the sage, the two brothers, the delight of the eyes of the whole world, departed. Beholding the exquisite beauty of the two brothers, troops of boys followed them, their eyes and mind being enamored of it. Clad in yellow garments, they had a quiver fastened at their back with a cloth of the same color wrapped around their waist. Their hands were adorned with a graceful bow and arrow respectively. The beautiful pair, one of whom was dark and the other fair, had streaks of sandalwood, red and white, painted on their body so as to match their complexion. With a neck as well built as the lion's and long arms, they had on their bosom an exquisite pair of string of pearls obtained from the forehead of elephants. Their lovely eyes resembled a lotus, and the moon-like face relieved the threefold agony. Their eyes were adorned with pendants of gold, which stole as it were the heart of whoever looked on them. They cast a bewitching glance, and had a pair of arched and shapely eyebrows. The lines of the sectarian mark on their forehead looked as if the beauty had been sealed there. Their beautiful head was covered with a charming rectangular cap and dark curly locks. The two brothers were lovely from head to foot. The beauty of every limb was as it should be. When the citizens received the news that the two princes had come to see them in town, they left all their business and ran out of their homes as if paupers were trying to grab a valuable property. Beholding the natural grace of the two brothers, they were glad at heart and attained the consummation of their eyes. Sticking to the air holes of their houses, young ladies lovingly scanned Sri Rama's beauty. They fondly spoke to one another in the following words: "O friend, he has surpassed the beauty millions of cupids. Nowhere among gods, men, demons, nagas or sages do we hear of such beauty. God Vishnu is endowed with 4 arms. Brahma has 4 faces, while Shiva, the slayer of Tripura, has a frightful garb and 5 faces. O friend, there is no other god who could stand comparison with this beauty." The 2 lads, one dark and the other fair, are yet of tender age and are repositories of beauty and abodes of bliss. Millions and hundreds of millions of cupids are worth sacrificing to each one of their limbs. Tell me, friend, what embodied being is there that could not be charmed to see such beauty? One of them lovingly said in gentle tones, "Hear, my dear, what I have been told. These 2 lads, a beautiful pair of cygnets as it were, are sons of King Dashratha. They were protectors of Kaushika's sacrifice, and have slain demons in the field of battle. He who has a swarthy form, and has charming lotus-like eyes, and who has quelled the pride of Maricha and Subahu, wielding a bow and shaft in his heads, is Kaushalya's son, Rama by name, the very fountain of bliss. The fair youth is in gallant attire, who is closely following Sri Rama, a bow and arrow in his hand, is the latter's younger brother, and is named Lakshmana. Sumitra, my friend, is his mother, if you must know." Having accomplished the object of the Brahmana, Vishwamitra, and redeeming the sage's wife of Ahilya, on the way, the 2 brothers have come here to witness the bow sacrifice. All the ladies were delighted to hear this. Beholding Sri Rama's beauty, someone said, "Here is the bridegroom worthy of Prince Janaka. If the king but sees him friend, I am sure he will abandon his vow and insists upon his marriage. The king has come to know of them, and has received them as well as the sage with all honor. But the king, my dear, refuses to give up his vow, and as fate would have it, persists in his folly." Yet another said, "If the providence is good, and as we were told, give every man his due, then Janaki is sure to have him as her bridegroom. About this, my dear, there can be no doubt. If such a union is brought about by providence, everyone will have realized one's object." My impatient friend is augmented by the thought that this alliance will impel him to visit this place again and again. Otherwise, my dear, it is out of question for us, I tell you, to see him again. Such an event can take place only when we have a rich stock of merit accumulated in previous existences. Someone else said, "Friend, you have spoken well. This union will be conducive to the best interests of all," said another. "Shankara's bow is hard to bend, while the swarthy lad is of delicate frame. Everything, my dear, is out of place." Hearing this, another said in a soft voice, "Friend, with regard to this lad, I have heard some people say that though small in appearance, he wields a great power. Touched by the dust of his lotus feet, Ahilya, who had perpetrated a great sin, attained salvation. He will therefore surely break Shiva's bow. One should never commit the mistake of giving up this faith. The same Creator who fashioned Sita with great skill has preordained for her this dark-complexioned bridegroom." Everyone was pleased to hear the words of this lady and softly acclaimed, "Amen." In their gladness of heart, troops of fair-faced, bright-eyed dames rained flowers on the princess. Wherever the two went, there was extreme joy. The two brothers reached the eastern quarter of the city, where the arena of the bow sacrifice had been gotten ready. In the midst of a beautiful and spacious paved area, a spotless altar was richly adorned. On the four sides of this altar was erected elevated and broad seats of gold to be occupied by the princes. Not far behind and surrounding them, on all sides, shone another circular tier of raised seats, which was of somewhat greater height and beautiful in every way, and where the people of the city might come and take their seat. Close to these were constructed spacious and beautiful galleries of glistening white, painted in diverse colors, whence ladies might view the spectacle seated in their appropriate places, according to their family rank. The children of the town politely showed the Lord all the preparations, speaking to him in gentle words. Thus, finding an occasion for touching their charming limbs, all the children were overwhelmed with joy, experienced a thrill all over their body, and their heart overflowed with joy on seeing the two brothers again and again. Finding all the children under the spell of affection, Sri Rama lovingly extolled to the faces shown by him. All of them could call the two brothers wherever they pleased, and the two brothers went to them out of loving kindness. Sri Rama showed to him, his younger brother, the arrangements that had been made there, speaking to him in soft, sweet, and agreeable words. He, in obedience to whose fiat Maya brings forth multitudes of universes in a quarter of a second, the same gracious Lord, conquered by devotion, looks with amazement on the arena for the bow sacrifice. Having seen the whole show, the two brothers returned to their guru, but the thought of their being late disturbed their mind. The Lord, whose sublimity inspires terror into terror itself, manifests the glory of devotion. With many kinds of courteous phrases, they took leave of the youngsters, much against the latter's will. Meekly and most submissively, with a mingled feeling of awe and love, the two brothers bowed their head at the feet of their preceptor, Vishwamitra, and sat down with his permission. At the approach of the night, Vishwamitra gave the word, and all performed their evening devotions. And while the sage recited old legends and narratives, 2 watches of the beautiful night passed. The chief of the sages, Vishwamitra, then retired to his bed, and the two brothers began to massage his legs. The couple whose lotus legs are sought by men of dispassion, muttering various sacred formula and practicing different kinds of yoga, means of union with God, lovingly rubbed the lotus-like feet of their guru as if conquered by his love. When the sage asked him again and again, the chief of Raghu's race went to bed only then. Lakshmana pressed the Lord's feet to his bosom and massaged them with reverence and love, deriving supreme joy with his sacrifice. It was only when the Lord repeatedly said, "Retire now, my brother," that he laid himself down, cherishing his brother's lotus feet in his heart. Towards the close of the night, at the caraway of the cock, got up Lakshmana. the Lord of the universe, the all-wise Rama, also woke before his preceptor. Having performed all the customary acts of purification, they went and finished their ablutions, and having gone through the daily routine of devotions, they bowed before the sage. When the time came, the two brothers took leave of the preceptor and went out to gather flowers. Having gone out, they saw the lovely royal garden, enamored of whose beauty the vernal season had taken its permanent abode there. It was planted with charming trees of various kinds, and overhung with beautiful creepers of different flowers. Rich in fresh leaf, fruit, and flower, they put to shame even the kalpavriksha trees by their affluence. The feathered choir of the chatakas, cuckoos, parrots, and the charokas warbled and peacocks beautifully danced. In the center of the garden, a lovely lake shone bright with the flights of step made of many colored gems. Its limpid water contained lotuses of various colors and was vocal with the cooing of aquatic birds and the humming of bees. Both the Lord and his brother were delighted to behold the garden with its lake. Most lovely must have been that garden which delighted even Sri Rama, the delighter of all. After looking all about with the consent of the gardeners, the two brothers began in high glee to gather leaves and flowers. On that very occasion, Sita too arrived there, having been sent by her mother to worship Girija. She was accompanied by her girl companions, who were all lovely and intelligent. They sang melodies in an enchanting voice. Close to the lake stood a temple, sacred to Girija, which was beautiful beyond description, and captivated the mind of those who looked at it. Having taken a dip into the lake with his companions, Sita went with a glad heart to Girija's temple. She offered worship with great devotion and begged of the goddess a handsome match worthy of her. One of her companions had strayed away from her in order to have a look at the garden. She chanced to behold the two brothers and returned to Sita overwhelmed with love. That brings us to the end of this reading, a little bit of a cliffhanger. We'll see what Sita sees and hears next week. So let's keep a couple of minutes of silence and then we'll get started with the evening's programs. Jai Gurudev. Can I ask you for a minute?
Om Namo Narayanaya. 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 ॐ नमो नारायणाय 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 ॐ नमो वेङ्कटेशाय ॐ नमो वेङ्कटेशाय ॐ नमो वेङ्कटेशाय ॐ नमो वेङ्कटेशाय Om Namo
Namaste, pranams, and welcome to all of you joining us here on site at Sankat Mochan Hanuman Temple. We're grateful to have people starting to come again to see Hanumanji, have darshan, be together, pray, sing, reflect. And also, just so all of you know, we are also hosting our annual 4th of July, we call it Liberation Yoga Retreat. And experimentally, we're having that also have a few people staying in residence. So we're just beginning to come out of this period of real lockdown, and it's beautiful to be able to gather in person together again and really bring alive the nature of this, the spirit of this. So thank you for joining us both here, and for those of you who are joining online. So many of our friends and family from all around the globe are joining us also in many of the evening oddities that we have and ceremonies that we have that we're live streaming. And I think especially at this time, we're joined by many more. So we'll go ahead and begin our usual evening oddity program with a Ganeshji oddity, followed by Hanumanji oddity. So altogether about an hour for that with the songs and so forth that we'll sing. Then we'll have time for the darshan and tilak at the end. Also, as part of our retreat, yoga retreat program, that part will be followed up with an evening of kirtan. So for those of you who are here and after the darshan and the tilak and so forth, if you want to stay and enjoy some of that, you're welcome to. It's fine. But just to be mindful that the whole property is really closed unless you're staying here as an overnight guest. So if you just be attentive to that. So only the residents and overnight guests have access to other than this temple site. So this is a beautiful place to be together. So I hope you enjoy that. But if you do get ready to leave, just to kindly only remain in the temple area or in the parts you need to go to get to your vehicle and so forth. So again, thank you for coming. Pranams. Jai Hanuman. Jai Ganeshji.
जय 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 गणपति भगवान की जय हो। जय गणपति भगवान, जय 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 बाबा जी की जय। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम दीपं समर्पयामि श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम दीपं समर्पयामि श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम गृहाणमंगलम दीपम घृतवर्ती समन्वितम दीपम ज्ञानप्रदम देवरुद्रप्रिय नमोस्तुते स्वप्रकाशो दीप सर्वत्र सुमीरापः सर्वाभ्यन्तरं ज्योतिदीपोऽयं प्रतिगृह्यताम्। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम गंधं समर्पयामि श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम एकदंताय विद्महे वक्रतुंडाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्ती प्रचोदयात्। ओम धूपं समर्पयामि श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम दशांगमं गुग्गुलं धूपं सुगंधिं सुमनोहरम् उमासुत नमस्तुभ्यं गृहाणवरदो भव। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम ओम सुमुखस्य एकदन्तस्य कपिलगजकर्णकः लम्बोदरस्य विकतो विघ्ननाशो विनायकः धूम्रकेतुर्गणाध्यक्षो भालचन्द्रगजाननः द्वादशैतानि नामानि यः पठेश्च शृणुयादपि विद्यारम्भे विवाहे च प्रवेशे निर्गमे तथा संग्रामे संकटे च विघ्नस्तस्य न जायते। विघ्नवल्ली कुठाराय श्रीगणाधिपत्ये नमः। वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ अविघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। शुक्लां वरदरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्याये सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। लाभस्तेषां जयस्तेषां कुतस्तेषां पराजयः। येषमिन्दीवरस्यामो हृदयस्थो जनार्दनः। ओम श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुर्गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम गणपतये नमः। ओम पुष्पं समर्पयामि श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे प्रियाणां त्वा प्रियपतिगुं हवामहे निधीनां त्वा निधिपतिगुं हवामहे। वत्सो ममाहं जानि गर्भधमा त्वमजासि गर्भधम्। ओम पुष्पं समर्पयामि श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम गणपतये नमः। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम पुष्पं समर्पयामि श्री गुरुवे नमः। नमामि शमीशान निर्वाणरूपं विभुं व्यापकं ब्रह्मदेवस्वरूपं निजं निर्गुणं निर्विकल्पं निरीहं चिदाकाशमाकाशवासं भजेऽहम्। ॐ नैवेद्यं समर्पयामि श्रीगणेशाय नमः। ॐ सगुणान् सकृतांश्च मोदकान् घृतपाचितां नैवेद्यं सफलं दत्तं गृहायतां विघ्ननाशम् एकं मोदकं विनायकाय दद्यात्। ओम फलं समर्पयामि श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम प्राणाय स्वाहा पानाय स्वाहा व्यानाय स्वाहा उदानाय स्वाहा समानाय स्वाहा श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम गंगणपतये नमो नमः। श्री सिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः। अष्टविनायक नमो नमः। गणपति बाप्पा मोरया, मंगलमूर्ति मोरया। ओम गंगणपतये नमो नमः। श्री सिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः। अष्टविनायक नमो नमः। गणपति बाप्पा मोरया, मंगलमूर्ति मोरया। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। जय 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 गणपति भगवान की जय हो। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा। माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा। माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। एकदंत दयावंत चार भुजाधारी। मस्तक सिंदूर सोहे मूस की सवारी। एकदंत दयावंत चार भुजाधारी। मस्तक सिंदूर सोहे मूस की सवारी। पान चढ़े फूल चढ़े और चढ़े मेवा। माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा। माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। अंधन को आँख देत कोढ़ियन को काया। बांझन को पुत्र देत निर्धन को माया। अंधन को आँख देत कोढ़ियन को काया। बांझन को पुत्र देत निर्धन को माया। लड्डुअन का भोग लगे संत करे सेवा। माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा। माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। दीनन की लाज रखो शंभु सुतोवारी। कामना को पूर्ण करो जाऊं बलिहारी। दीनन की लाज रखो शंभु सुतोवारी। कामना को पूर्ण करो जाऊं बलिहारी। हार चढ़े फूल चढ़े और चढ़े मेवा। माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा। माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा। माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। बोलो श्री गणेश जी महाराज की जय। गणपति बाप्पा मोरया, मंगल मूर्ति मोरया। ओम कर्पूर गौरम करुणावतारम संसार सारम भुजगेन्द्रहारम सदा वसंतं हृदयारविंदे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् वर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। जय 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 शिव शंभो, जय नाग देवता, जय श्री गंगा माई। ओम श्री सीता रामाय नमः, ओम श्री हनुमताय नमः, ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः, ओम श्री सीता रामाय नमः, ओम श्री हनुमताय नमः, ओम गं गणपतये नमः। आवाहनं न जानामि विसर्जनं पूजां च न जानामि समस्त परमेश्वर मन्त्रहीनं क्रियाहीनं भक्तिहीनं सुरेश्वर यत्पूजितं मया देव परिपूर्णं तदस्तु मे जपिश्चन्द्र यच्छन्द्र शान्तिकर्मणि सर्वभूतु मे चन्द्र ब्राह्मणा प्रसादता अपराधशास्त्राणि क्रियन्ते हर्निशं मया दासयमिति मां मत्वा क्षमस्व परमेश्वर ज्ञानतो वापि यन्नयनमधिकं कृतं तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देव प्रसीद परमेश्वर कर्मणा मनसा वाचा तव पूजां मया कृता तेन तुष्टिं समासागे प्रसीद परमेश्वर। ओम शांति शांति शांति। जय 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 गणपति भगवान की जय हो। जय बाबा जी। ओम उपचारे समस्तस्तु यन्मया पूजनं कृतं तत्सर्वं क्षमस्व मे। ओम शांति शांति शांति। जय 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 गणेश भगवान की जय।
हनुमान जी की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, रमापति रामचंद्र की जय, सब संतों की जय, सब भक्तों की जय, सब गुरुदेवों की जय। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः, ओम श्री गुरवे नमः, ओम श्री सीतारामाय नमः, ओम श्री हनुमते नमः, ओम सुमुखश्चैकदन्तश्च कपिलो गजकर्णकः लम्बोदरश्च विकतो विघ्ननाश विनायकः धूम्रकेतुर्गणाध्यक्षो भालचन्द्रगजाननः द्वादशायतानि नामानि यः पते शृणुयादपि विद्यारम्भे विवाहे च प्रवेशे निर्गमे तथा संग्रमे संकटे चैव विघ्नस्तस्य न जायते विघ्नबालकुठाराय श्रीगणाधिपतये नमः। वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ अविघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा शुक्लं वरदनं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। लभस्तेषां जयस्तेषां कुटस्थेषां पराजयः येषाम् इन्दीवरश्यामो हृदयस्थो जनार्दनः। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम गंधं समर्पयामि श्री हनुमते नमः। ओम पवनतनय संकटहरणं मंगलमूर्तिरूप राम लखन सीता सहिता हृदय बसव सुरभूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। ओम धूपं समर्पयामि श्री हनुमते नमः।
Om Atulita Baladhamam Hem Shailabadeham Dhanujavan Krishanum Jnaninam Agraganyam Sakala Gunanidhanam Vanadanamadisham Raghupati Priyabhaktam Vatajatam Namami. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om Deepam Samarpayami Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om Manojavang Maruttatuyavekang Jitendriyang Buddhimatang Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanariyuttamukyam Shri Ramadutam Shirasa Namami. Ulangya Sindho Salilam Salilam Yashoka Bahinang Janakatmajaya Adayatenaiva Dadahalanka Namamitang Pranjaliranjaneyam. Om 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 Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Gananatva Ganapati Gungavamahe Priyanatva Priyapati Gungavamahe Nidhinatva Nidhipati Gungavamahe Asso Mama Aham Jani Garbhadham Atmamajasi Garbhadham. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Gurudeva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shri Sita Ramaya Namaha. Om Anjaneyaya Vidmahe Mahabalaya Dhimahi Thanno Hanuman Prachodayat. Om Anjaneyaya Vidmahe Mahabalaya Dhimahi Thanno Hanuman Prachodayat. Om Anjaneyaya Vidmahe Mahabalaya Dhimahi Thanno Hanuman Prachodayat. Om Ramaya Rambhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Om Ramaya Rambhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Om Ramaya Rambhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Om Shri Sita Ramaya Namaha. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om Jai 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 Shri Hanuman Ji Ki Jai. Pavana Sutta Hanuman Ki Jai. Om Pushpam Samarpayami Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om Pavanatanaya Sankataharana Mangalamurati Rupa Ramalakana Sita Sahita Hridaya Basau Surabhupa Siyavara Ramachandra Ki Jai. Pavan Sutta Hanuman Ki Jai. Umapati Mahadeva Ki Jai. Ramapati Ramachandra Ki Jai. Sab Santon Ki Jai. Sab Bhakton Ki Jai. Sab Gurudevon Ki Jai. Jai Jai Shri Hanuman Ji Ki Jai. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Ganganapataye Namaha. Om Ganganapataye Namaha. Om Ganganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Namami Shamishana Nirvana Rupam Vibhum Vyapakam Brahmadeva Swarupam Ajam Nirgunam Nirvikalpam Niriham Chidakaram Akashavasam Bhajeham. Om Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shri Sita Ramaya Namaha. Om Shantakaram Bhujagashayana Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gagana Sadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yoga Birdhyanagamyam Vande Vishnu Bhavabayaharam Sarvalokaikanatham. Om Shri Sita Ramaya Namaha. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om Pushpamalam Samarpayami Shri Hanumate Namaha. Jai 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 Shri Hanuman Ji ki Jai. Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki Jai. Om Pushpam Samarpayami Shri Hanumate Namaha. Jai Jai Jai. Om Tulsi Malam Samarpayami Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om Jai 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 Shri Hanuman Ji ki Jai. Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki Jai. Umapati Mahadeva ki Jai. Om Palmalam Samarpayami Shri Hanumate Namaha. Jai 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 Shri Hanuman Ji ki Jai. Om Om Vadamalam Samarpayami Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om Jai 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 Shri Hanuman Ji ki Jai. Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki Jai. Umapati Mahadeva ki Jai. Ramapati Ramachandra ki Jai. Om Vadamalam Samarpayami Shri Hanumate Namaha. Jai 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 Shri Hanuman Ji ki Jai. Om Pushpam Samarpayami Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om Jai 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 Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Jai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Sita Ramaya Namaha. Om Naivedyam Samarpayami Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om Phalam Samarpayami Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om Jai 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 Shri Hanuman Ji ki Jai. Om Pranay Swaha Apanay Swaha Vyanay Swaha Udanay Swaha Samanay Swaha. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om Ahankaram Samarpayami Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om Triyambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvadukamiva Vandanan Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. Om Triyambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvadukamiva Vandanan Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Jai 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 Shri Hanuman Ji ki Jai. Om Jalam Samarpayami Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om. 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 Shri Hanumate Namaha. Jai 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 Shri Hanuman Ji ki Jai. Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki Jai. Jai Shri Hanuman Ji ki Jai.
Hanuman Arati on page 6.
Arati ki jai Hanuman lalla ki, Dushta dalana Raghunath kala ki. Arati ki jai Hanuman lalla ki, Dushta dalana Raghunath kala ki. Arati ki jai Hanuman lalla ki. Jaake bal se गिरिवर कांपे, जाके बल से गिरिवर कांपे. asura samhare, dahine bhuja sab santa ubare, Arati ki jai Hanuman lage, dushta darana raghunath karage, Arati ki jai Hanuman lage. Suranara muni jana aarti utare, Suranara muni jana aarti utare, Jai 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 Hanuman ji pujare, Jai 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 Hanuman ji pujare, Lakshmana tarata pura ki baate, Arati karta anjali maaye, Arati ki jai Hanuman lage, dushta darana raghunath karage, Arati ki jai Hanuman lage. जो हनुमान जी की आरती गावे, जो हनुमान जी की आरती गावे, बसी वैकुंठ अमर पद पावे, बसी वैकुंठ अमर पद पावे, जो हनुमान जी की आरती गावे, जो हनुमान जी की आरती गावे, बसी वैकुंठ अमर पद पावे, बसी वैकुंठ अमर पद पावे, आरती की जय हनुमान लागे, दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ करागे, आरती की जय हनुमान लागे, दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ करागे, आरती की जय हनुमान लागे। जय
पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
जय।
जय
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 सीताराम।
सीताराम। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव वन्दनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव वन्दनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव वन्दनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ओम शांति शांति शांति। जय 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 श्री हनुमान जी की जय। ओम गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुदेव महेश्वर गुरुदेव परम ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुदेव महेश्वर गुरुदेव परम ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुदेव महेश्वर गुरुदेव परम ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। जय 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 श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम उपचाराय समस्तैस्तु यन्मय पूजनं कृतं तत्सर्वपूर्णतं यातु हि अपराधं क्षमस्व मे। जय श्री हनुमान जी की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
Next we'll sing Sankat Mochan Hanuman Ashtak on page 2.
They in there? Yeah.
Kala samay ravi shakshini yoda batina huloka bayo andiyaro tahi sutra sabayo jagakoya sankata kahu sujata nataro devana ani kari vinati tava chari diyo ravi kashta nivaro तो नहीं जानता है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो बालिकी त्रास कपि शबस गिरि जात महाप्रभु पंत निहारो चौकी महामुनि सपदियो तब चलिया कौन विचारो कैद्विज रूप लिवाय महाप्रभु सो तुम दास के शोक निवारो कौन ही जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो अंगद के संग लेन गए सिया काज विषय बन उचारो जीवत ना बचिरो हम सो जुबिला सुदिलाई इहा भगुधारो हेरी तके तट सिंधु समेत लाय सिया सुधि प्राण उबारो कौन ही जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो रावण त्रास दई सिया को सब राक्षसी सो कही शोक निवारो ताहि समय हनुमान महाप्रभु जय महाराज जर मारो चाहत सिया अशोक सो आदि सुदेव प्रभु मुद्रिका शोक निवारो कौन ही जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो बाण लाग्यो उर लक्ष्मण तब प्राण तजे सुत रावण मारो लय गृह वैद्य सुषेण समेत तबे गिरि द्रोण सुदृढ़ उभारो आनि संजीवन हाथ दई तब लक्ष्मण के तुम प्राण उबारो कौन ही जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो रावण जुद अज्ञान कियो तब नाग के पास सबे सिर दारो श्री रघुनाथ समेत सबे दल मोह भयो यह संकट बारो अनेक देश तबे हनुमान जु बंधन काटी सूत्रास निवारो कौन ही जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो बंधु समेत जबे अहि रावण ले रघुनाथ पाताल सिधारो देवी पूजे बलि विधि सोबल देउ सबे मिली मंत्र विचारो जय सहाय पायो तब ही हरि रावण सैन्य समेत संहारो कौन ही जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो काज किए बर देवन बिहारो लाल तेरी लाली लसे अरुधरि लाल रंगूर वज्र देहा कानवदन जय 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 कपिसूर
जय 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 श्री हनुमान जी की जय.
Hanuman Chalisa, page 8.
Shri Guru Charana Saroj Raja Nijamana Mukura Sudhar Varnon Raghuvara Bimala Jasu Jodayaka Parachari Buddhihina Tanujanike Sumira Pavan Kumar Bala Buddhi Vidya Dehu Mohi Harahu Kalesha Vikar Jaya Hanuman Jnana Guna Sagar Jaya Kapisha Tinu Loka Ujagar Rama Juta Atulita Baladama Anjali Putra Bhavana Sutanama Mahavira Vikrama Vajrangi Sumati Vivara Sumati Kesangi Kanchana Varana Viraja Subesha Sita Sahita Hridayamasahu Surabhupa Siyamar Ramachandra ki jai Pavana Sutta Hanuman ki jai Umapati Mahadeva ki jai Ramapati Ramachandra ki jai Sab Santon ki jai Sab Bhakton ki jai Sab Gurudevon ki jai
Jai Jai Sitaram.
In the Sri Ramachandrashtakam on page 12.
Chidakaro Data Paramasukala Pavanatanu Murindre Yogindre Yatipati Surindre Hanumata Sada Sarvya Purno Janaka Tanayanga Suraguru Ramana Ramo Ramatu Mamachite Tu Satatam Mukundo Govindo Janaka Tanayanga Ritapada Param Praptaya Ramakula Bhavata Pishabari Irati Togam Yoni Maladvishane Veda Vachasa Ramanando Ramo Ramatu Mamajite Tu Satakam Tarati Shodisha Suranaravarana Raghupati Kiriti Keyuri Janaka Kapisha Shobhitavapu Samasina Pite Ravishatanile Shanta Manaso Ramanado Ramo Ramatu Mamajite Tu Satlatam Karenya Sharanya Kapitati Satastanta Viduro Rarate Kashmiru Ruchira Kapibhanga Shashimuka Narakaro Ramo Yatipati Tanu Samsriti Haro Ramanato Ramo Ramatu Mamachite Tu Satatam Virupaksha Kasha Mupati Shariyam Namai Shivadam Sahasram Janana Patati Girija Pratusha Siva Svaloke Gayanti Shvaravidhi Mukha Yasya Charitam Ramanato Ramo Ramatu Mamachite Tu Satatam Paro Dhiro Dhiro Surakula Bhavascha Surahara Paratma Sarvagyo Narasura Gita Suyasha Ahilya Shapana Sharakara Riju Saushika Sato Ramanado Ramo Ramatu Mamachite Tu Satatam Rishikesha Trauni Dharani Dharashayi Madhuripu Upendro Vaikundo Gajari Pudaras Susha Manasa Pavidvamsi Viro Dasharata Suto Niti Vipuno Ramanato Ramo Ramatu Mamachite Tu Satatam Kabir Samriti Kapata Mrigagati Janapujo Ritishayo Ramanato Ramo Ramatu Mama Chite Tu Satatam Ramanato Ramo Ramatu Mama Chite Tu Satatam Ramanato Ramo Ramatu Mama Chite Tu Satatam.
And we'll do Mahamrityunjay mantra, 11 repetitions, as is our daily practice. So we encourage you to try to keep your awareness in the heart as you chant the mantra, or you can sit and just quietly repeat it to yourself or hear it inside also. And we offer the mantra for the healing and well-being of all, whether in a physical level, or mental, emotional level, or a spiritual level. So we offer for all those suffering from the effects of the pandemic or the various maladies afflicting the whole globe, whether war, violence, racial violence, injustice in many, many forms. So you can hold someone special in the heart or the whole world community and pray for healing and release from suffering. So we'll do one Om, then 11 times in unison. There'll be a moment of silence after, and then the Swasti Vachan mantras for blessings from the temple door. At that time also then we'll invite people to come for tilak, and prasad will be distributed, and Kirtan will continue. So we'll begin with the Om. Om Ham Jum Saha Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanat Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat Swaha Bhuvah Bhu Om Saha Jum Haum Om Haum Jum Saha Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanat Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat Swaha Bhuvah Bhu Om Saha Jum Haum Om Haum Jum Saha Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanat Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat Swaha Bhuvah Bhu Om Saha Jum Haum Om Haum Jum Saha Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanat Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat Swaha Bhuvah Bhu Om Saha Jum Haum Om Haum Jum Saha Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanat Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat Swaha Bhuvah Bhu Om Saha Jum Haum Om Haum Jum Saha
भूर्भुवः स्वः ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् स्वः भुवः भुः ॐ सः जुं हौं ॐ हौं जुं सः ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् स्वः भुवः भुः ॐ सः जुं हौं ॐ हौं जुं सः ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् स्वः भुवः भुः ॐ सः जुं हौं ॐ हौं जुं सः ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् स्वः भुवः भुः ॐ सः जुं हौं ॐ हौं जुं सः ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् स्वः भुवः भुः ॐ सः जुं हौं ॐ हौं जुं सः ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् स्वः भुवः भुः ॐ सः जुं हौं
Om Ganana Tva Ganapati Gungavamahe Priyana Tva Priyapati Gungavamahe Nidhina Tva Nidhipati Gungavamahe Vaso Mama Aham Jani Garbadham Atmamajasi Garbadham Om Swastina Indro Bridhashavaha Swastina Pusha Vishwaveda Swastina Stariksho Rishtanemihi Swastino Brihaspati Dadatu Om Payah Pratibhyam Payo Shadishu Payo Devyanta Rikshin Payo Da Payasvati Pradisha Santumayam Om Vishnu Raratramassi Vishnu Shnaptesto Vishnu Syursi Vishnu Dravosi Vaishnavamassi Vishnave Tva Om Agnir Devata, Vato Devata, Surya Devata, Chandama Devata, Asvo Devata, Rudro Devata, Aditya Devata, Mato Devata. Om Vishwani Deva Savitar, Duritani Parasuva, Yadbadram Tanna Asuva. Om Tat Sat Gurve Swaha.
So while people are coming up to get tilak, number 199 in the songbooks, Rama Raghav Ki Jai. Rama Raghav Ki Jai, Shama Sundar Ki Jai.
Rama Raghav Ki Jai, Shama Sundar Ki Jai.
Rama Raghav Ki Jai, Shama Sundar Ki Jai.
Rama Raghav Ki Jai, Shama Sundar Ki Jai.
Bajja Hanuman Lala Ki Jai, Jai Jai. Bajja Hanuman Lala Ki Jai, Jai Jai. Rama Raghav Ki Jai, Shama Sundar Ki Jai. Rama Raghav Ki Jai, Shama Sundar Ki Jai. Bajja Hanuman Lala Ki Jai, Jai Jai. Bajja Hanuman Lala Ki Jai, Jai Jai. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita 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 Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Hare Hanuman, Hanuman, Bhaja Hanuman, 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 Bhaja Hanuman, Bhaja Hanuman Lala Ki Jai, Jai Jai. Bhaja Hanuman Lala Ki Jai, Jai Jai. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Hare Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Bajja Hanuman Lala Ki Jai, Jai Jai. 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 Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Hare Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Hare Hanuman. Hanuman Lalla ki jai jai jai.
Hanuman Lalla ki jai jai jai.
Rama Raghav ki jai, Shama Sundar ki 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 jai.
Hanuman Lalla ki jai jai jai.
Bacha Hanuman Lalla ki jai jai jai.
Bacha Hanuman Lalla ki jai jai jai.
Bacha Hanuman Lalla ki jai jai jai.
Sitaram 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 Hare.
Sitaram 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 Hare.
Sitaram 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 Hare.
Sitaram 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 Hare.
Hanuman Hanuman Bacha Hanuman Hare.
Hanuman Hanuman Bacha Hanuman Hare.
Hanuman 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 Hare.
Hanuman 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 Hare.
Hanuman बच्चा हनुमान लल्ला की जय जय जय।
हनुमान लल्ला की जय जय जय।
बच्चा हनुमान लल्ला की जय जय जय।
हनुमान लल्ला की जय जय जय।
राम राघव की जय, श्याम सुंदर की जय। श्याम सुंदर की जय।
Jai Sri Ram. Jai Hanuman. Jai Sri Ram. Jai Giridhari.
Stay up here and sing with us? Yeah, please.
Are you going to do Kirtan?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. I love that.
You have some manjiras? That's all? Yeah.
Are you going to play?
Do you want to play harmonium?
Are you going to? The
I
Kirtan
think
you can
Somo
play.
is good.
I
Would
can
you like?
accompany.
Yes.
Depends on what you're singing.
What are you singing? Excellent. In C.
In C?
Jai Shri Ram. Jai Siya Ram.
Dear Harji. Dear Heart is going to play for himself on this one.
Thank you so much for saying such a prayer. So beautiful as always. So nice to hear you in person. Yeah. You still got it. You still got it. That's beautiful. Thank you. I think those are hers.
Jai Shri Ram. This Ganesha bhajan came just recently in the last few weeks, just to help us through these challenging times. You know what we're going to do against I just decided. Gajanana, 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 Shubhanana, Gajanana, Shubhanana, Gajanana, Shubhanana, Gajanana, 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 Vigneshvara Gajanana Lambodara Vigneshvara Gajanana Lambodara Vigneshvara Gajanana Gajanana He Gajanana 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 He Gajanana Gajanana He Gajanana Gajanana He Gajanana Gajanana He Gajanana Abhiyam Sharanam Gajanana Abhiyam Sharanam Gajanana Abhiyam Sharanam Gajanana Gajanana He 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 Gajanana Ambika Tanaya Gajanana Ambika Tanaya Gajanana Ambika Tanaya Gajanana Ambika Gajanana He Gajanana 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 Vignavanayaka 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 Gajanana, Hey Gajanana, 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 Om Ganapati, 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 Ganapati, Om 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 Ganapati, Gajanana, Gajanana, Bolo, Gajanana, 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 hey, Gajanana. Om Shrim Klim Klim Glaum Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Darcy is going to sing, and then would you sing after Darcy? I don't know. If you'd like to sing, we will. People complain that it's too early.
Sure.
People complained we stopped too early last night. No idea. Sorry, I had them memorized last year.
This one's number 17.
17?
Yes. Confirmed. 17. Pajamana mama, mama, Pajamana mama, mama, Pajamana mama, Pajamana mama.
Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Oh, don't pull on here, okay, hey, buddy? Oh, thank you, Albert. Very nice. Very beautiful. Okay, I mean, Dinah Uncle's gonna sing one next. Actually, I think that's the first kirtan I ever learned that Bubby taught me and my sister when we were like
Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Bola, Namah Shivaya.
Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Bole, Namah Shivaya.
Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Bola, Namah Shivaya.
Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Bole, Namah Shivaya.
Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Bola, Namah Shivaya.
Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Bole, Namah Shivaya.
Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Hara 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 Hara, Namah Shivaya.
Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Hara 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 Hara, Namah Shivaya.
Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Namah Shivaya.
Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Bole, Namah Shivaya.
Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Bola, Namah Shivaya.
Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Bole, Namah Shivaya.
Maheshwara Shiva, Maheshwaraya, Hara 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 Hara, Namah Shivaya.
Maheshwara Shiva, Maheshwara, Hara Hara Bole, Namah Shivaya.
Maheshwara Shiva, Maheshwaraya, Hara Hara Hara, Namah Shivaya.
Maheshwara Shiva, Maheshwara, Hara 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 Hara, Namah Shivaya.
Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Rameshwaraya Hara 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 Namah Shivaya
Rameshwara Shiva Maheshwara Hara 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 Namah Shivaya
Rameshwara Shiva Rameshwaraya Hara 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 Namah Shivaya
Rameshwara Shiva Rameshwara Hara 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 Namah Shivaya
Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Hara Hara Bola Namah Shivaya
Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Hara Hara Bole Namah Shivaya
Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Hara Hara Bola Namah Shivaya
Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Hara Hara Bole Namah Shivaya
Kailasha Vasa Maheshwaraya Hara 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 Namah Shivaya Kailasha Vasa Maheshwaraya Hara 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 Namah Shivaya
Kailashvara Shiva Maheshwara Hara 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 Namah Shivaya
Namah Shivaya Hara Hara Bole Namah Shivaya
Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Hara Hara Bole Namah Shivaya
Satyam Shivam Sundaram
Bole Hara Hara Mahadev.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I think we'll close out our evening with Shivaratri National Anthem. Number 61, it's an all sing along. Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanatha Gange Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanatha Gange Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanatha Gange Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanatha Gange Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanatha Gange Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Kashi Vishwanatha Gange Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho Kashi
Kashi Vishwanath Gange, Kashi Vishwanath Gange, Kashi Amarnath Gange, Har Har Mahadeva Shambho, Kashi Vishwanath Gange, Har Har Mahadeva Shambho, Kashi Vishwanath Gange, Har Har Mahadeva Shambho, Kashi Vishwanath Gange, Har Har Mahadeva Shambho, Har Har Mahadeva Shambho, Har Har Mahadeva Shambho, Kashi Vishwanath Gange. Oh Har Har Mahadeva Shambho, Har Har Mahadeva Shambho, Har Har Mahadeva Shambho, Kashi Vishwanath Gange. Oh Har Har Mahadeva Shambho, Har Har Mahadeva Shambho, Har Har Mahadeva Shambho, Kashi Vishwanath Gange. Har Har Mahadeva Shambho, Kashi Vishwanath Gange. Har Har Mahadeva Shambho, Kashi Vishwanath Gange. Har Har Mahadeva Shambho, Har Har Mahadeva Shambho, Har Har Mahadeva Shambho, Kashi Vishwanath Gange.
Hara Hara Hara
Bam
Mahadev.
bolo.
Shiva Shambho.
Does anyone know what time the yagi starts tomorrow? 7:30.
7:30.
Arti's at 6.
6 o'clock.
6:30.
6 o'clock.
Arati's at 6.
Arti's at 6 if you like, and and yagya 7:30. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Hanuman,
Jai
Jai
Gurudev.
Gurudev.
Jai, Jai, Jai.
Thank you all.